All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So excited about today's video. I've been waiting for this video for months, probably since June when my single symphony was running live in Alpaca. And obviously the news is that Composer has officially launched. Here's a news article about it. Breather Ritual alumni look to ride retail investing wave with new automated trading platform Composer. And talks about here, Toronto-based fintech software startup Composer has revealed 5.35 million in previously unannounced seed financing to fuel the launch of its automated trading platform. And then it goes on to say here, this is backed by San Francisco's first round capital, Toronto's Golden Ventures, Benjamin, the CEO. Let's see here. You have Ananda here, Ben and Ronnie, interacted with all three of them. I actually had dinner with Ben in Fort Lauderdale at Chima, which is an amazing Brazilian restaurant if you're ever in Fort Lauderdale, and been interacting a lot recently with Ronnie, the head engineer on the project. So he comes down here and he says, these online communities were just starting to take off and COVID was just like pouring gas on the fire. And then you could just see them exploding, he said. You look at things like Wall Street Bets, you look at what happened on Reddit, and it's just wild. And so you see kind of the rise in retail, the rise in what one might say sophisticated retail. It goes on to say, these guys are Canadian tech guys, Ananda, alumni of Montreal-based workspace startup Breather, and Toronto-based social food ordering app Ritual. And this is a great way to describe it here. To start, Composer is focusing its offering on edge-seeking retail investors who spend a lot of time reading investment newsletters and browsing Reddit forums, who are willing to put in extra effort to try to find some sort of edge. Rollert described this group as sophisticated, but outside of the truly elite circles. Longer term, the startup intends to expand its reach to more self-directed, systematic retail investors. And so this is so on point for me specifically. It's funny, when I was in my early 20s, I ran my own personal training business. And one of my clients was actually in finance and investing. And his nickname for me was Edge. And the reason being is I was always looking in the gym for some sort of edge, some supplement, some exercise where I would change the grip a few inches that would affect the angle that the muscle was worked, or some type of food, a superfood or a shake, or, I was always seeking these little edges in the gym. And so now obviously I do that with financial markets, but it's a very apt description there. And it's interesting because he says outside of the truly elite circles. And that's how I feel. Look, I don't feel like I'm just some guy, with a $5,000 account. Obviously I'm not. But I'm really, if you look at it objectively, I'm not on the level of Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, David Tepper, Jim Simmons, so on and so forth. Meaning I'm not running billions of dollars. I'm not Bill Ackman, Carl Icahn, right? But I'm running a couple $1 million. So it's somewhat significant, but again, not on that highest level. Maybe I'll get there at some point. Maybe Composer will help me get there. Is maybe a good way to describe it. So it just goes on and on about their fundraising, and with other companies like Wealthsimple and Robinhood and so on and so forth. But let's actually get into the software itself and how I am using it. Right now, I have 152,000 synced with Composer in Alpaca, and I'll explain that in a bit. But we are now in the back end of Composer. So let's shrink my screen a little bit here. And let me just scroll through and kind of show you an overview. So you can see here on the left, what you see here as I'm scrolling up, is the net deposit. So you see, I put 2,000 pretty much into each symphony thus far. And then you can see the current value, and you can see that number is moving because the market is presently open and these values are changing. So as you see that just changed. It's changing second by second. And so on the left here, where the cursor is, you're able to see the name of the symphony. And if I click on it, you will be able to see the symphony itself. So this one is Daily Profit Harvesting TQQQ. So let's click on it. And you can see that this is going to emerge. And this is going to show the results for the past year. You can see it's 44.1. And then down here, it's going to have some more of the metrics. Cumulative return, annualized return, trailing 1 month, Sharpe, standard deviation. Here's how I created it. And what's cool here is on the right, it breaks it down and showcases in English, essentially, the logic on the left. Every day, weigh these assets as follows: TQQQ, TLT. So this is a daily symphony here. So you're going to see that on the right here, it's going to show you its trading frequency: daily, quarterly, yearly. And you can, when you're creating these, you can back test these things and be able to say, well, if I did this one monthly or if I did this one daily, it's actually going to have a better return. So, but why is this, to me, so revolutionary and so groundbreaking? Well, for me personally, I just wouldn't be able to run this many strategies in an automated fashion. For people who try to run these things, you're having Post-it notes, you're running to your computer at 3:30 to 3:45 to try to put in your buys and sells. And then if the sell doesn't get filled fast enough, then you can't do the buy, and then you're not doing the rebalance. It's just very amateurish and disorganized trying to do it that way. This is so beautiful because I could literally be on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, and my symphonies are going to run automatically. I don't have to do anything. So like this one that I showed here, the daily profit harvesting. Okay. This one at the top, all these daily profits harvesting, they're daily. So at 3 o'clock, they're going to go out and rebalance. I don't have to do anything. It's already set. No work whatsoever. No hands-on tinkering, so on and so forth. So to me, that's revolutionary. And, maybe a good way to think of it is, Howard Marks talks about first level thinking versus second level thinking. And so, there are other brokers out there where you can do kind of first level thinking. So what do I mean by that? So let's just I'm going to come down here to a symphony where it's kind of showcasing first level thinking. So let's just bring the screen down. So you see covered call ETFs. Okay. So I'm going to click on this. Now this is something I made, and this would be kind of what I would call a laundry list symphony. So I did some research. I found 19 covered call ETFs, and I just listed them, weight equal, and you see there's one of 19. So every year I'm going to own all these 19 covered call ETFs, and Composer once a year is going to rebalance them for me. Now, this is something you could do, with when Motif was around, when Folio, you can do this with M1. Though I believe, from my understanding, you actually have to click it when you do want to rebalance. It's not going to be automated. So the advantage here is it's automated. But this is just kind of like, okay, it's a one-click rebalance type of symphony. And that would be, again, for my thought would be that's kind of a Howard Marks first level thinking. But let me show you how Composer allows for second level thinking, logic based symphonies. So If we scroll down here, I'm going to click on UPRO Market Timing TLT. Okay, so again, you're going to see the 1 year information here. Wow. So it's 88.8 was the 1 year return, the Sharpe ratio 1.93. But let's get into the logic. So again, this on the left is how I created, and this on the right, it kind of breaks down the logic into very easily understandable language. And so this, again, this would be second level thinking. Every day, ask whether the SPI current price, which is actually showing the price, I think that's pretty new, 455.56, is above the SPY 200-day moving average, which is showing at 426.75. If yes, invest in this, which is UPRO. If no, invest in this, which is TLT. So again, to my knowledge, there's absolutely nothing on the market or in the investing marketplace that allows you to do this rule-based, systematic trading, quant-based trading, however you want to define it. It's absolutely revolutionary with regard to that. And you can get a lot more sophisticated than that. I just want to kind of showcase that of, one that's just like a one-click rebalance in the covered call ETFs. But then this one is if this, then that. And then you can start breaking things down from standard deviation, inverse volatility. You can really get sophisticated with these things. And then you can back test to see, well, how would this have performed? So it's mind-blowing to me. I mean, it really takes the Maneos compounding machine to a whole nother level. So let me go into Alpaca now. So the way it works is Composer is the software that's synced into the broker Alpaca. Alpaca is also a FinTech startup, an API-based broker. Not a lot of people have heard about it. I hadn't heard about it until Composer introduced me to it. I've had some people ask me questions about it, like they're a little hesitant to put in significant capital into Alpaca. They're a registered broker, and I believe they also have that SIPC protection, which protects you up to 500,000. So I'm not really hesitant in any way with Alpaca, but that's on you. You got to do your own research there. So it's synced in to Alpaca here, and you can see I have right now 149,983. Actually, just went to 150. Again, the market is open, so these portfolio values are shifting. Now, I initially put in 152,000, obviously with the Omicron, I'm saying that right, Omicron variant, Jerome Powell's acceleration of tapering, coupled with his statement about retiring the word transitory with regard to inflation. The market sold off pretty tremendously. We've had a lot of volatility. And so, but the nice thing is I'm only down about $2,000 here. You can see I'm up about 1% today. And you can see I still have about 47,000 in cash ready to deploy. I wanted to kind of dollar cost into all my symphonies, that the 2,000 per symphony. So I still have some more capital to allocate. Initially, I was going to do 200,000. I think I want to stay with 150 just because I have some in my real estate holdings. I think I'm going to bring in some new units there. So I might just keep it at 150 into this. But yeah, this is what the back end is going to look like. And then you scroll down, it's going to showcase all my positions. But see, the positions here are going to be, for lack of a better term, messy, because you're just going to see the raw positions. You're not going to see the elegant breakdown that you see in Composer, where everything's neatly organized. Yeah, so this is, how it's going to look here. And you can see I'm almost back to that 152 number. And yeah, so that's pretty much it with Composer. And again, I couldn't be more excited with the launch of this. I think that, for me, it brings in a totally new element. For those of you who follow me, you know that I run about 300,000 in my balanced alpha and all weather, but that's in interactive brokers. I'm having to manually rebalance. And so there's no way I'm going to run more than like 2 strategies like that, 3 maybe, right? Here I'm going to have 100. So I'm going to literally be at the gym, at a restaurant. Everything's just gonna execute in an automated fashion. So yeah, so let's just take a look at the accounts. Over 1.2 million. That's not due to any real capital increase. That's due to the fact that I put this 150 into the Maneos Compounding Machine from a cash out refi. But you can see up pretty big today in Interactive. And what's interesting here in Interactive is you can see that November 8th, I was at 670,000, and you can see 633. So, and I'm up 12,000. So if you back off that, let's say I was down to 620. So from 670 to 620, you can see that volatility. That's 50,000 in volatility. And so that's a great learning experience for newbie investors to see that just within, less than a month, I'm having $50,000 in volatility. And you can't let that bother you. You have to just know that that's part of the game. The higher amount of capital you have, the more you're going to deal with that. So, just add another zero to this and imagine that. So let's say I'm at 6.3 million. I'm going to have, let's say, 500,000 of volatility just within 3 weeks. But I don't blink. Don't blink. It doesn't affect me. Volatility, that's a skill set that I've developed. I think I was born with it innately. But volatility doesn't bother me as it bothers many others. So, and the more you can sort of have that iron will on volatility, the better investor you'll likely be. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. Really, the point of this video is not really portfolio update as much as a video on Composer and how it's just going to take my investing to the next level. So appreciate it. All of the likes and subscribes. The Dave Ramsey video has gotten a lot of attention. I think 3,500 views the last video I did. It's been a little bit because of the holidays. I've had a full house here. I haven't had the privacy to do a video. So back on it. We'll continue to do portfolio updates and updates with regard to Composer. Any particular Composer questions, feel free to ask me. I've had some people that asked me to reveal some of the symphonies. That's not really something I'm going to do on a large scale, like one or two here and there, like I just did. But they're actually going to be doing a marketplace in the future where people will be able to purchase them. So I'm kind of saving that for the marketplace. But just general questions, be happy to help. So, all right, guys, appreciate it. Take care. Ciao.